let's talk about the Capitol police officer. This is really sad. This is a really long article. It's a very honoring article to this man who lost his life at the Capitol. He was 18-year Capitol veteran. This is sad. Talks about his kids and how he was their hero before all this happened. That he will be in the rotunda. I don't think I'm going to read the article too much. I think everybody has probably heard about this so far in things. But
keep thinking, what
I
a
don't
tragedy.
know.
What a tragedy. And then, of course, we see, what was his name? Noah, whatever. He was like a 25-year-old that was having, he was delusional and having suicidal thoughts. So, unfortunately, we're going back again, like if we, to, such something as marijuana. I'm not saying that would have prevented this by any means, but what I'm saying is sometimes if we can address mental health, I believe very strongly that we can see a decrease in this kind of stuff in the future. It's not 100%, nothing's 100%, but I definitely think that I've seen an increase of these kinds of things in the news and in articles. It's so sad, and I think also, again, with all respect to who passed away, but the media sure just really gets everybody going with some of this stuff. And I'm glad that they're showcasing this, and so we can respect Billy Evans. But I think I get so much more out of this article, which I usually try to. I get more than what it is. And what I'm getting is we need to start addressing mental health concerns so we can make our country a safer place.
Noah Green, they're very, I think the way that they could honor Billy the most is to call out Noah Green a little bit.
Yeah.
Noah Green drove to the Capitol. He lives in Indiana, I believe, and I looked at a lot of articles, and I decided today that I wasn't going to pull those into this. I was just going to have a conversation off of memory. But anybody heard of Louis Farrakhan?
Yes.
That's mentioned. Yep.
He was a follower of Louis, right? Louis, I'm saying his name right. Louis Farrakhan, who's a terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
This is a terror attack. He defended the Capitol because there was a terror attack. Someone purposefully drove from out of state with a knife in his car to cause terror.
But that's not on the headlines.
That's not, and that's very dishonoring to Billy.
Yeah, 95% of this article, which rightfully so, is about the police officer. But
yes.
They barely touch on the perpetrator. And I'm okay with leaving his name out of it, but that should be discussed as well. Why are they trying to... Are they specifically trying to be vague about the person that did it?
Yes. I believe so.
Me too.
Because if you look and cross-reference the articles on the man who shot 8 people in Atlanta, 6 of them Asians, they're talking about him being a white supremacist and all these other things, that it was a hate crime. Even though the man himself said it's not a hate crime, it's he had a sex addiction, and that was the cause of it. He felt that these places were harming his addiction and things like that, I guess. But the articles would call out him on that, white supremacist, all those things. This is a hate crime against Asian people, and perhaps it was. I don't know. But isn't any violent crime a hate crime? It doesn't matter who does it, who it's towards. A violent crime towards another human being seems pretty hateful to me.
It's a hate crime, yeah.
And so I don't know why. Again, the tribalness and the categories that they have to label this, one human to another human, is causing this kind of terror. It does not matter.
Right.
And now people are going to say, well, it's because you're white.
Well, is this a hate crime against police officers?
Exactly.
And I'm glad that they're covering the officer's story, and that needs to be done. And it just seems like there's a narrative in the writing of the article. So, but
Yeah,
maybe I'm trying to see that. I don't know.
Well, the point being is, and I want to say, people who are watching, listening, go do your research. Look, we say that every week. Probably should say it more. Go do your research. You need to go out and look things up and not just believe the narrative of one news source or one whatever it is, whether it's your neighbor or us. Go look. That's what we're trying to encourage here. But you know, the Colorado, we were talking about Colorado earlier. The guy in Colorado who killed, was it 10 people? You know, he was from Syria, and they literally on CNN said that he was he had white thought process or whatever. I can't remember now what it said, but you know, that they were saying that the reason that he was indoctrinated by white people, in other words, and that's why he did it. It's just so ridiculous that they're trying to grasp at all these things and do this. But hate is hate, crime is crime. Call it out equally. If this guy, I mean, Louis Farrakhan, I mean, anybody that remembers and knows who this guy is, you know, I mean, this wasn't an arbitrary thing.
Mm-hmm. There's 2 kids sitting at home tonight that don't have their dad around because of this.
Right.
And the loss of a life. Every life, doesn't matter what color it is. Mm-hmm. It's the loss, and it's very sad.
Mm-hmm.
But call it for what it is.
Exactly.
This is a terror attack from a terrorist organization.
Scary.
So already, we're only in April, and already we have 25%, almost 40% officer deaths of what we had for the year 2020.
Yeah.
I just pulled up the stats.
Wow.
So, and you guys know how, you know, I defend Back the Blue and peacekeepers and the life they go to work and put their lives on the line every day and not knowing. So,
And news organizations and this narrative, you know, I mean, I don't know. I want to encourage more people to do what we're doing, I guess, and that is to dig into these things, sit down with people who you might not always agree with, but that will respect opinions and bounce this stuff around. Because look, there's this stuff is happening, and we're calling it something that it isn't. In a case like this, they're not calling it for what it is, and this is a terrorist who is encouraged by terrorist people and organizations. Ideals, yes. And yeah, so Billy, thanks for your service.
amen.
Thank you, Billy. Thank you.
Hey, a lot of people have asked how they can support the work we're doing here at Matt Logan Speaks. Well, you see this hammer that I got in my hand? It's pretty big. All you have to do is hammer the share button. Go ahead and hammer out a comment to us. Go ahead and hammer the like button. Go ahead and hammer the subscription button. Go ahead and hammer the notification bell so that when we have new content up, you're the first to know about it. We really appreciate the comments, shares, likes, because you know what? That's the best way you can support us, because the algorithms on all these fancy computers, that's what they need. We appreciate it.